Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at the XL Talonflame with Fly and Buffed Incinerate in the Open Ultra League. We're doing some test builds here as Open Ultra League going to be available later on today. And I kind of want to try out those new Pokemon here for you today. So we're going to take a look here as well against the opponent having a Toxic Rogue. Might run the new move Shadow Ball, who knows. But we're going to see the Swampert going to have a great matchup. But also the rest of our team is going to be fine. We're going to have here as our Sayswap usually the Galarian Weezing, depending on what they're going to have in the lead though. For example, if they have a Como in the lead, which is going to be the best matchup basically for the Weezing, but not as great for the Talonflame, you would rather go into the Talonflame as a Sayswap. But here we're going to now also see one benefit of maybe having the Play Rough against Greninja. You're going to be able to do enough damage to easily knock them out, which you wouldn't be able to do with the standard moveset of the Overheat as well as the Brutal Swing. So here we're going to see the Mud Bomb coming through. We still should be able to outspeed them with our Swampert, and I feel like that our Talonflame with a shield advantage would look really nice. So if they're going to use a shield, I'm not going to use a shield, especially as we can swap out here immediately and catch a move. Let's see if this is going to be the Shadow Ball. No, it's going to be the Mud Bomb, and so we can move on and completely incinerate them down, going for a Flame Charge, buff our attack, and honestly, the incinerate damage is just adding up. You see it already, and this is going to be it for the first game. Fly gonna get the knockout, and this is going to be it for this one. Good game there. Let's take a look at the next opponent. We're going to have here the Swampert against the Nidoqueen. Great lead for us, but can be even a little bit tricky as Nidoqueen going to be able to survive a Hydro Cannon. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go for the Earthquake immediately. Just in case the opponent wants to use a shield, that's going to be the safest play we can go for, and the opponent is using a shield, or like if they wouldn't use a shield I want to say. But now we're going to see that they're going to go for the bait with the Poison Fang as they can catch the move onto the Talonflame. And we are in a driver's seat here right now as they can now just go ahead and go for the Hydro Cannon against the opponent, and we can now retaliate basically with our Talonflame, as Talonflame will be able to just incinerate them down. This is looking so good for us right now. They are going to have a shield advantage. We have 3 Pokemon left. Talonflame is in a prime position to sweep them with the energy it has, as they can see that the opponent swaps into the Nidoqueen. We can go for one Fly here, and I think we might be even able to reach another Fly afterwards without even using a shield, because Poison Fang is the only move they can go for, and Poison Fang is not doing too much damage. It's more the fast moves that really add up. And so we're going to have now 3 Pokemon, 1 shield. What could go wrong? That's what you most likely expect here right now. But we're going to have the Walrein coming in, and I've decided to just try to catch a move here onto my Weezing. Everything looks kind of nice, right? So I decided to no-shield this one. It could be the Earthquake, but we still should be able to survive it. We can still go for the Play Rough, but as long as I can still get to a Brutal Swing, we should be pretty fine here, as long as I cannot farm me down in time, and we literally die on that move. And so I get the fast move in. We're going to encounter a little bit of lag here afterwards. I don't think it mattered though. You see, like, the opponent, I don't know if the opponent got 2 in or not, but we are sadly actually losing against the Walrein there. What a game. I honestly don't know. We're going to see the next opponent here though. We're going to have a Drifblim in the lead, which can be a little bit awkward. They can run the Shadow Ball, they can run the Mystical Fire, they can run the Icy Wind. Sadly, the opponent does not run the spicy moveset of Astonish as a fast move, but it's going to be okay as you're going to shield up the resisted move that debuffs our attack. Great job by me, but we gotta see the opponent swapping out now into the Sandslash, and everybody is running the Overheat on this Pokemon. So we are not running the Overheat, but we can bait them still, and we can still pretend that we're going to run the Overheat. As you can see here, the opponent goes for a Dry Run. I can still survive this. I can go for my next charge move, and they most likely expect that I'm going to have Overheat here, and they still use another shield onto a move that would have done basically no damage. And speaking of damage in general, take a look at the damage of Incinerate. Honestly, like, this should be illegal. Like, 4 Incinerates to knock out a Pokemon in the Ultra League where everything is insanely bulky. It's an XL Pokemon as well. Like, holy moly, there we're going to see the opponent swapping into the Drifblim. Attack drop is coming through, but we can just swap out into the Swampert, going for the Hydro Cannon in order to knock out the opponent's Drifblim. Bye-bye there. Let's see what's coming in next. We're going to encounter the Virizion, and at this point, we're going to be in an interesting spot there. I know what the opponent going to try to do here at the end for sure, as their play is only basically that we have Brave Bird and that they can catch that Brave Bird onto their Sandslash, but we're running Fly, and Fly is going to be way better for us. Why is Fly way better for us? Because we can store 2 of them at the exact same time. So the opponent makes a swap into the Sandslash, and I predicted this, but I didn't care at all, because I can just reach another Fly afterwards, and so why risk it? And so we're going to be able to win this game, and we can move on to the next one. Next opponent coming up, let's take a look what they're going to run here today. We're going to see them choosing their team. It's going to be a Poliwrath in the lead, which is going to be a little bit awkward. We could decide to swap out as well into our Talonflame, but I decided to swap out into my Weezing. And they swap out into a Charizard, which is a pretty bad matchup for me. But I can go for Brutal Swing, and I think 3 Brutal Swings might be enough, so I decided to use a Shield here against the incoming Blast Burn. And I was not sure if I would be able to outspeed the opponent. In hindsight, I should outspeed the opponent here, I think. But no, actually I wouldn't. Okay, so that's great. So I decided to use a shield here. I think I need 14 turns and the opponent needs 13. But I need also like 1 turn like more because I go for 1 more charge move and this cost me a turn. So like it's a little bit awkward there. But we're going to be able to realign. But yeah, we're going to be 2 shields down. And the opponent is going to have a Tapu Fini in the back. So they're running double water. And this is not really looking that great. Like literally every single Pokemon on the team would be able to beat my Pokemon in the back there, basically my Talonflame. So this is a little bit awkward. As well as those Pokemon here that are still available are both going to be also able to beat Swampert. So they have a shield advantage, they have energy advantage, they have the Pokemon advantage. There is not really a lot that I can do here, especially if they catch the move, which I did not hope for either, so that's going to be not ideal. I'm still going to be able to reach another Fly, and so I can at least get the knockout against the Poliwrath, but again, it's going to be a little bit close, so maybe there's still a chance. Maybe I think this is most likely going to be the Moonblast, and the Moonblast it is, and it's going to knock me into a range where I cannot do anything. Good game to the opponent. Let's move on to the next one. We're going to have the Toxicroak in the lead again. This is going to be okay for me as we're going to have a great team for this one. We're going to see the Greninja coming in and I make a little bit of a mistake here. I think I should try to go for the Poliwrath against the opponent, but I think I might go for the bait, which is not really ideal because, again, most people are not running Poliwrath, and if I went straight for the Poliwrath, I most likely would have been better off here, but it is okay, right? We're gonna see the Hydrocan coming through. It's going to be okay for me, as I can use a shield against the opponent. It's going to be a Night Sash coming my way, as I can go for now the Brutal Swing spam. First Brutal Swing coming through, gonna get shielded. Next Brutal Swing is coming through. Let's see if they're going to shield this one as well. If they do, I swap out, and they do. So I swap out into my Swampert, trying to reach a Hydro Cannon in time so we can hopefully do a ton of damage against the Greninja, but they decide to swap out into the Gustode. So now it comes down, can our Talonflame win the game here? Can our Talonflame basically save the day? Let's take a look at this one. We're going to have Talonflame and our Weezing in the back. I decided to swap out into the Weezing, hoping that they would go for a charge move. In hindsight, I shouldn't have done this because I just gave the opponent more energy, and so they can go for the crunch. Luckily, no debuff there. Usually I always get them even though it's only a 30% chance, but I decided to use a shield onto the second move, and I go for the full farm down. I hope that they're not gonna go into the Toxicroak because I need to boost my attack first with the Flame Charge, and they sadly go for it, but they swap out into the Greninja, allowing us to go for a Flame Charge, and like this I still should be able to reach 1 more Incinerate and then go for the Fly, which now hopefully is enough to knock them out. Take a look at this one. Boom, goodbye there, and Talonflame saves the day. What a nice triple KO there from the Talonflame. I think it was, yeah, definitely was a triple KO. Amazing stuff there. Next opponent, we're going to see the Kommo-o coming in. And this is going to be a little bit of an awkward one, especially as the opponent going to have an Ampharos in the back and they can catch the Fly here, which is a little bit awkward. Luckily, they're going to use a shield, and so they also decide to go for a charge move here, which I can take. And I go into my Swampert again. But most of the Ampharos, at the current time, are running Trailblaze. And that's exactly what the opponent does here as well. So they're going to be able to buff their own attack, but I can still reach a Hydro Cannon, which is going to be able to do some decent damage here. Going to get the knockout, and I can see what they're coming back into, most likely their lead, which was the Kommo-o. And they go for a charge move, and they definitely have enough like energy for a close combat, so I decided to use a shield, and I tried to catch a move. Did not work out at all. And they're going to have a Registeel in the back. Completely hardwalled the entire game through. This is literally ridiculous. There was not a lot that I can do there. Flying type against an electric type, water type against, I forgot what they had in the lead. And here we're going to have the steel type against the fairy type, but we were able to get a shield there. And this shield might come in clutch, because if you remember, I have a move start on my Swampert, and this might be a very good one for me, especially as a one-player off, hopefully going to knock out the Kommo-o later on. And you see me here clicking for the Earthquake, and apparently I lose the Impeta against the Registeel as a Swampert. Like, that's for sure. Like, honestly, it's such a clear move there for, honestly, I don't know how this even worked. But we're going to be able to knock them out, and so the player-off is coming through, and so the player-off is going to save the day, winning us this game, and we can move on into the next one. So let's see what the next opponent gonna bring us. Are we going to see the opponent having the Swampert against a Dragonite? Horrific lead again hard wall, and again you kind of want to go into your Talonflame, because Talonflame going to be able to bait out whatever's in the back that you don't really want to face with your Weezing as well, and you kind of want to have the better answer still in the back. That's kind of how those teams always work. You never really want to use your Say-Stop, like, I mean, sometimes there is ways where you want to have your Say-Stop being the better Pokemon to deal with the opponent's Pokemon. Like rare cases where the opponent's Pokemon is breaking both your closer as well as your lead, you have to hope that the opponent might stay in against your other matchup, but it's kind of neutral. But it's usually you kind of want to go into the Pokemon that's a little bit weaker against whatever they had in the lead. And so we did exactly this. And so we're going to try to get as much energy here as possible with our Swampert, nearly at 100 energy, and we can swap out the opponent is getting a complete, like literally complete hard walling us again. And you're going to have a Fairy and Poison type against a Ground and yeah, Poison type against us, which is a little bit awkward, and we can go for a charge move here, Brutal Swing coming through. We are forced to hope that this is going to be a Poison Fang, otherwise there's no way of us winning, and so I decide to call the bait here, which works out amazing. I can go for my own charge move, which is also amazing, and they're going to let this move go through, which is also amazing. As we can go for another charge move here, Brutal Swing is going to get some damage onto them and putting them straight into the range for the Hydro Cannon. As I have two stored still, we can now go for the CMP tire on the second one, and this should be a game. This should be actually the hard counter flipped by mainly the Swampert as well as the Weezing, though Weezing did a great job there as well. So let's move on into the next game. Next opponent coming up, well, let's see what they're going to run. We're going to have the Swampert against the Deoxys defense in the lead. One of the Pokemon that actually really benefited. I don't know if I made a video about this already. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. But there are quite a few Pokemon that really benefited from the recent meta shake. Deoxys defense is one of them, mainly because you're going to be able to beat the Talonflame with the Rock Slide, as well as with Psycho Boost, you're going to be able to beat Poliwrath. So, yeah, again, it's going to be a very great Pokemon to use right now. Greedent is also very great. You don't want to run Trailblaze, by the way, for the Ultra League. Main reason for this is Giratina, the Cresselia, a lot of Pokemon that don't really like to encounter the Dark type damage. And so here we're going to be able to catch a move, which is the best thing that we can do. We are kind of on the back foot here, but we are going to still try our best as we can go for the full farm. Now, of course, the opponent can still go for another Body Slam. This Squirrel is just so annoying to deal with, but we can get rid of it now, and we can try to go for another charge move here. This was very fast, so I expect that it's going to be the Psycho Boost, which it is. And so I can still go for another charge move here with the Fly coming their way. Going to get them fairly low, not going to get them low enough. Like, Brave Bird would have been cool here. Sadly, they're going to run the Sandslash in the back. Great play by them, though, to keep this Pokemon alive in the back. And my only play here is to hope that I can somehow get to another Hydro Cannon later on and maybe knock them out with this, but I have to kind of get rid of the final shield, where Weezing might come in clutch for. Of course, Weezing again, usually they're running Overheat, and here we're not running Overheat, which is going to be okay for us because the opponent is going to decide to use a shield here, which is fine. We can still try to go for another charge move, which is going to be only the Brutal Swing again. And now it comes down to Swampert. Can Swampert win this game? Can Swampert even knock them out from this range is the question. It's a Shadow Swampert, so we should be kind of fine here, right? We will find out very shortly. Yes, we can go for the Hydro Cannon. Is this going to be enough? It is not enough, and they can swap out into the Deoxys, and so this is going to be a good game. Second to last game for today, we're going to encounter the Talonflame here. This is going to be amazing, as we are going to be able to go ahead and swap out into the Weezing. I think I might have actually cut out a battle, which I'm sorry about. There was like one battle where I got completely hard one, and I think I quit after 1 minute, so yeah, sorry, I think it's not in there for that one person. I just realized it. I'm so sorry. Usually for like those battles where I do it against viewers, I always put them all in there. Now I feel like kind of too late for that, so I'm sorry for you. It was not really my intention, but yeah, we're just gonna move on with it. I got completely hardwalled. Like, there was nothing I could have done in that battle. I quit after 1 minute. I think they had like a Lantern in the back against my Talonflame. They had like literally the best answers for all my Pokemon, so I just quit out of it. Maybe it's the final game, but I don't think it is, because it was like a 1 minute game and it wasn't yet, so sorry for that. I think I just like, the thing as well, which you maybe didn't know, I'm just gonna talk some shit right now. When you do like battles like I do against like other people, so many people just spam me with invites. Niantic's game is not really done for that. Like, literally, it breaks the entire game for me a lot of times. So I have to record, I go into a battle, the battle stops in the beginning, it doesn't work at all. And so I have a lot of files that are like around like half a minute to a minute, or like even lower than this, where I just battle against people that are not actually there because like the battle system just breaks because I have just too many people asking me for a battle. And so like, this battle most likely was in there, so sorry for that. But here we're going to actually still be able to win this game with our Talonflame, so that's going to be nice. But I just realized it, so I'm sorry about this. But yeah, we're gonna move on now into the final battle, as Talonflame is actually sweeping quite a lot of them. And we can see the final one for now. So yeah, sorry, I think it was the Mega Junko, so sorry for that. It was not intentional. We're going to see here the last opponent going to have a Credilli, which is going to be a core breaker for this team. So let's see how we can deal with it. And again, we are not deciding to go into our say swap of the what's called the Weezing, because our Talonflame is a little bit of the worst Pokemon to deal with it. But you see, I'm going to use my shields because I feel like it might be a decent play to go for shields here against Credilli. And I should be able to still reach some charge moves against the opponent, but they decide to swap out into their Charizard here, which is going to be a little bit of a tricky one. So we are 2 shields down, we are in a matchup where we don't really want to be in either, which is going to be a little bit tricky for even my backline, because yes, Swampert is a water type, but also yes, Swampert is doing fast move damage with a ground type move. And here I make a mistake, by the way, as well. I went for a Flame Charge the game, like the turn before. I should have went for Fly, because Fly is 5 less energy, and I would have got to another Fly before, which would have made this game way easier, like literally way easier. So, big mistake by me, but we can still try to come back from this. We have to clutch this here. Let's see if we can do this. We're going to see the Credilli coming in. We can swap out, and we will see that the opponent goes for a Grass Knot, and the opponent swaps out into Skeledirge. The issue for Skeledirge here is, though, that I have basically coverage for its typing. We're going to have the Brutal Swing, which is going to do a ton of damage. We can go for another Brutal Swing, and they are forced to basically go for a charge move against me, and they're forced to go for a Shadow Ball. As Disarming Voice is going to be resisted, Shadow Ball is the only way for them to go, and so the opponent goes straight for another charge move here. And I can take advantage of this because I can now go for the full farm down, and I just have to reach 2 Hydro Cannons in order to knock out the opponent's Credilli. And so this is going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.